Hello everybody, and here is the tutorial for Premiere in 15. The first thing you'd like to do is when you are in your tab and you go into class content and check out your video assignments in Premiere in 15, please click the link for assets. You can ideally view the video tutorial that's here, or you can view this one, which will be here somewhere in 4 or 5. But for now, what you'd like to do is just look at link for assets, okay? And that's kind of where you want that to go. The next portion is downloading this link. So once you click the link for assets, here's the link. You can go into it and then hit the down arrow and download it onto your desktop. Now I've already done so, and here it is, Premiere in 15. The next step is folder structure. Right click and click new folder and type in Premiere in 15. I spelled that incorrectly. In Premiere in 15, you want to create something called assets, okay, audio, and in fact, the next one would be video. Next one would be renders, and the last one, artwork. Okay, so this is kind of the folder structure you want to keep at all times because there's going to be elements that's going to live inside these folder structures. The next section is to, or the next part is to bring these assets or this video in. Notice in this artist interview, there is several clips. The last clip here is music. So what we're going to do here is we're actually just going to take the video and pop the video components in Premiere in 15, but in the video section, because that is where the video is going to, all the video stuff that we need, which is all the video. Okay, so I said video too many times. It's too early in the morning. There is music, and obviously you can see where that goes into audio. So the audio portion, which is music or any external audio, will be living there. The video will be here that you're going to be using. Any additional assets like a picture or whatever you want to put, you can put in there. And any artwork that you're going to be doing for your video, if any. Right now you're not doing anything, but this is just getting into good habits. You can delete this Premiere in 15 assets once you have completed everything. So now it's time to begin the actual video editing process. Let's begin. The first step is to pull up Premiere in Premiere Pro, and on my Mac it's showing up here. For those of you, you can go to Adobe bottom left hand corner on the start menu and it will show up Premiere in 15. And what you want to do is you want to point this project to the project file that would live here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new folder in here called project. And that's kind of like where your project is going to live. So we're just waiting for Premiere to launch, which it's taking a moment to launch. Okay, Premiere Pro has now launched. And what we're going to do is we're going to get started on the new project. So the first things to do is to click here and hit new project. Once you do new project, you need to point this to where you just created the project file location. So I'm going to go to desktop, Premiere in 15, project, and then choose this folder. So once again, if you hit the browse button, you navigate to desktop, Premiere in 15, project, and this is where your project is going to live. Name your project, last name, first name, PI15, Premiere in 15, and start getting into the habit of doing good things like that. Once this is done, click OK. Now, my editing suite defaults to something called editing, which is this tab up here. I don't know if you can see this tab. I'm pointing up to it up here. It says editing. Some of you, most of you, will have this tab open called learning, or some people will have something called assembly. You want to hit the editing tab because the editing tab kind of gives you this location okay? And it says here to import media to start. So the bottom, we're going to go into this quadrant here to get started. So let's go and import our media. So the best thing to do and the easiest thing to do is to select all of these folders, drag and drop them in here. And it says import selected sequences, import entire project. Click cancel. I did something wrong, because the first thing you don't want to do is you don't want to import the project file. So only import the artwork, assets, audio, renders, and video. When you bring that in, it'll come in properly and it'll say import files. Great. Now you notice that there's nothing in artwork and assets or renders, so there's only audio and video, which is perfectly okay. The next step is to create a new sequence. Right click, click new item, sequence. And what you're going to do is you're just going to name your sequence, whatever you want to call it, but really you want to do your last name, first name, PI15, and I type in 1080p. So 1080p stands for 1K footage and things like that, and that's kind of important. So once you've created this, you can see your timeline has now changed, which means you can actually work on your project. So the next part is to right click and go sequence settings. So right click on your sequence and go sequence setting, because we have to change a couple of things. We want to change this to 1920 by 1080. If you haven't got this done, you need to change that to 1920 by 1080. Now, you have to go up here at the top and click custom if you haven't already done so. So go ahead and do that. And then if you haven't got this set to 29.97 frames per second, you need to do that. If you haven't got 1920 by 1080p, you got to do that. And then if you haven't got square pixels selected, you need to do that. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes to check. Okay. And once that's done, you click at the bottom, OK. And your sequence is now ready to begin. Now comes the fun part once you've set up your project. And so this is the setup portion. We are now going to actually start editing the project.